What do you say, Matt, what do you say to people who, think that the problem with police brutality is only a few bad apples, only a few bad individuals within the police force? I know that's something that some of the pro-cop people were saying the other day. What would be your response to that?
Well, if you aren't black or a minority, make yourself look like that. Dress a certain way that is reflective of your culture, not trying to conform to the Americanized culture. And live in a urban neighborhood and see if you feel like it's still a few bad apples, because I know where I grew up, day-to-day basis, it was bully tactics, hands-on, throwing people against walls, beating people down. It wasn't just one or two, it was the whole police force, and they would target you. And the only time to be kind is to try to irk a confession out of you, and if there's no confession to be had, then they would change their tone very fast. And it's I think it's a perspective that comes from areas of privilege, that few bad apples, people who don't live it on a daily basis. But for the people that do live on a daily basis, it's a very different perspective. It's not a few bad apples, it's a systematic problem that sit there to systematically oppress individual people and also to break down communities, to turn them against each other, so that the power no longer relies on the people but relies on the system. It seems very planned and methodical, not an accidental thing. And then, every once in a while someone will get caught doing things that are daily issues, or they'll take it a little bit further and get caught. And so they'll have a sacrificial lamb, they'll sacrifice one to save the whole. But if you were to turn it from police and put the same title on Crips or Bloods, they would RICO act them and have them all incarcerated in the feds. So, I mean, the few bad apples thing is pretty ridiculous to me, especially that they protect each other, which makes it not a few bad apples. It makes an organization problem to start with, not to mention that their training is built to make them violent and prejudiced and stereotype people, and decide that these type of people, especially if they happen to be minorities, especially minorities that are proud to be minorities and will not conform to a Euro standard of dress, living, and so forth. They're trained to think of them as the enemy no matter what.
Yeah, well, one time I was having a panic attack on a bus because I was taken to a place where I told the bus driver, look, I need to get off at this bus stop, right? And decided not to, decided to let the cops have at me. And the cops, I guess, are supposed to use de-escalation techniques. They didn't use any of that. They pretty much just said, you're under arrest, zapped me for having a panic attack. I got zapped multiple times. I ended up fighting back because I was, I was freaked out. Panic attack, I mean, come on. What do you expect somebody's going to do if they're scared for their lives? You think they're just going to be like, oh, please take me? No, that's not how it works. However, the police seem to think they can do whatever they want to whomever they want at any given time. The situation was a prime example of the system also basically being corrupt. I mean, it would have cost them less money, they would have made less money had they just de-escalated. That's what I see the police do a lot. They escalate situations. They're supposed to not escalate situations, but they do. And it's because it is profitable to profit off of, essentially screwing with, marginalized people. So if you don't make their money, then you're another threat to them. You're essentially somebody that's not worth much to them. They leave you alone, but I'd imagine after a while, they'll have it out for you like they did John T. Williams.
I've dealt with many occasions, getting off work, having police officers sit outside of my job where I work every day, pay taxes, so I'm underneath the government too, I pay the higher guy in the office too every day, but it's like we get tax taken out, but then we still have to be harassed on the streets when we walk down here every day, no matter what background or origin we're from, I've left my curts and my skirts a long time ago, I'm trying to do bigger and better, and it's like, if we're going to do bigger and better, we got to do it as a community, and having police brutality is not going to help it.
Have you experienced police brutality yourself in Seattle?
Yeah, everything from minute police harassment to actually being brutalized. I mean, there was a time when I was out there in the streets hustling, selling dope, and I'm not going to say I was an innocent person, like I hadn't committed crimes because I was selling dope, but there was a time I was walking on the street I had priors. I was smoking a blunt. Then they slammed me up against the wall and planted dope on me, beat me up, maced me, stomped me on the face, left a mark on my face forever. And to be perfectly honest, at that time I did have dope on me. I did swallow it, but it was facing away from them, so I know for a fact they didn't see me swallow it. And the fact that even if they did, to make me, to plant dope on me just to get the conviction and to beat me up was unnecessary. And that conviction should not be outweighing true justice and the law. If you're supposed to stand for the law, you're supposed to be an example of the law. Which by definition, they would have been guilty of delivery of a controlled substance by planting dope on me. Because it was dope that I didn't have. And then also least third degree, if not second degree assault. I mean, literally had a footprint on my face for a week. So that was my particular experience, plus other smaller ones. Like the first experience of police brutality, I guess it wasn't brutality, but it was harassment, was I was 12, and then riding down the street on a bike, and having an officer stop me, and we got in an argument, and I told him to fuck off, and he said, fuck off, fuck you, what if I fucked you in these bushes? So that was my first experience. And then later on, actually about 2 days later, someone had broken my window that I was getting into it with, and this was back when I was 12, and my grandmother called the police, which is not my favorite thing to do, but she has no problem with it. And the same officer showed up and didn't even make a police report, just left. So this thing has been going on. There's many other examples, but if I was to say them all, then it would take hours. So
they're never there when you need them there, and they're always there when you don't want them there, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Even if you're not committing a crime, not just if you don't want them because you committed a crime, but you could, again, like be riding on the street without a helmet on. And that's not something that you should be, again, threatened to get fucked in bushes over.
For sure.
Especially as a little kid.
Yeah.